Yeah. So guys, welcome back. This is the second video after the relaunch, and I'm very happy that I have come back on the second day and I'm doing a short video once again. So yesterday basically we read about factors, multiples and divisibility rules. We also learned how to identify prime numbers, composite numbers and things like that. We also learnt about a special number which is called the perfect number. 6 and 28 are the perfect number, and we learnt what is the property or what is the characteristic of a perfect number. So today basically we are going to uh, you know learn more about factors and multiples, and I will keep the video simpler because yesterday I saw that the video went on for about 35-36 minutes, and I think it's a slightly longish duration. So I have kept only limited topics today. The idea is to keep it limited, slightly shorter, so that it is more impactful. So today we are going to just let me put the pen. Yeah. So today we are going to learn what are co-prime numbers. Okay. So yesterday we learnt about prime numbers. Now there are a couple of numbers who could be co-prime also. So we will talk about it, what it is, what is the concept. Yesterday we learnt about factors. Today we will learn about common factors. So if there are two or more numbers, for example 4, 8, 12, are there any common factors among these three numbers? Okay, so we will learn about that. Then we will learn about common multiples. Okay, obviously, uh, once again same thing. Let's example of 4 and 8. Okay, are there any common multiples? And then we will learn about prime factorization. Okay, so what is how to find out prime factors and things. So the see here the concept is that every number basically it can be broken down in prime factors, because ultimately all the composite numbers are nothing but multiplications of prime numbers. So in the end the concept is that uh, all numbers can be broken down as a multiplication of prime numbers, and basically how to do that process is called prime factorization. Okay, my bad. I think there's some slide issue. So what I will do is that I will start with okay, prime factorization. Let me just drag it and take it below. Yeah. So yeah, co-prime numbers, and we will start with co-prime numbers. Fantastic. So guys, yesterday we learned that there are prime numbers. Okay, so what are prime numbers? See, understand that prime numbers are basically, um, there are numbers which have only two factors. They are prime numbers. And what are some of the examples of prime numbers? So 7 is a prime number. Okay, 11 is a prime number because there are only two factors. One factor is 1 and the other factor is 7. One factor is 1, the other factor is 11. So this is prime number. Now here we are talking about co-prime numbers. Okay, so what are co-prime numbers? Co-prime numbers basically are numbers. If two numbers have no common factor except one, then those numbers are called co-primes. Okay, so what does it mean? Let me tell you. Basically, let's say there is a number 2 and then there is a number 4. Now what are the factors of 2? It is 1 and 2. And then what are the factors of 4? It is 1, 2, 4, right? So what are the common factors here? 1, 2, 1, 2. Now see, understand that 1 will be a common factor for all the numbers. So let's discard 1. So what are the common factors? 2 is a common factor between 2 and 4, which means that 2 and 4, they do have a common factor, and hence these numbers are not co-prime. So in order for two numbers to be co-prime, the only common factor has to be 1. If 1 is the only common factor between two numbers, then those two numbers are co-prime. So examples: first, all two consecutive numbers will be co-prime. ठीक है? So any two consecutive natural numbers will be co-prime. So remember that 2, 3, 3, 4, 10, 11, they have to be co-prime numbers, and 1 will be the only common factor. And then any two prime numbers, obviously they also will be co-prime, because both of them are prime numbers, and therefore, so this is also an example of co-prime number. Now the third kind of example can be where one of the numbers or both of the numbers, they are composite numbers, right? So third example is like any one number is prime, okay, and the other number is a composite number. And here just remember that this one prime when you choose, okay, and one composite when you choose, there is going to be some catch in it. What catch? I will tell you. So for example, yesterday, if you remember, we learned that there are two types of prime numbers: odd prime numbers and even prime numbers. So here for example 3, if let's say you choose the even prime number, which is 2, okay, so for prime we have chosen 2, then your composite number that you choose, okay, it cannot be an even number, because the moment it is an even number, 2 will be dividing that number and there will be a common factor, okay. So you will have to 2 and any odd number, right, they will be co-prime. Clear? 2 is a prime number, and then any odd composite prime number or any odd number, they will be co-prime. If you choose other prime numbers, which basically is any other prime number, just make sure, for example 3, okay, now understand that all the other prime numbers, they are going to be odd numbers, right? So with them you choose any even number, they will be prime, and they will be co-prime. So for example you can choose 3 and so sorry, not any even number. Basically you will have to choose any number which is not a multiple of them, and you will have to check. Yeah, so here you cannot really put in a rule, my bad, I'm sorry. So basically there will be 3, and then you have to pick a number, okay, which is an even number or an odd number, and then you will have to figure out if they have any common factors outside 1, okay. If they have, then they will not be co-prime, otherwise they will be prime. But this one, it will work always. 2 and any odd number, they will always be co-prime number. So that's the basic definition of a co-prime number, that mutually they might not be prime numbers individually, but mutually they behave like prime numbers. And one more way of looking at a prime number, a co-prime number, or identifying, is that their HCF, highest common factor, is 1. So when you find HCF of two numbers and you find out that the HCF is 1, which is highest common factor is 1, then understand that those two numbers are co-prime. That's the solid way, there is no exception to this, one way in which you can identify, and it will apply to all the cases that we have covered here. Now there is also a chance that two composite numbers are co-prime numbers. For example, 9 and 16. 9 is a composite number, okay, and 16 is a composite number, but mutually they don't have a common factor. So there might be some questions which say that two composite numbers can never be co-prime. So do not fall into that trap. Okay, two composite numbers separately, they are composite numbers, but they can be prime numbers. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Now let's come to this wonderful thing called common factors. Now it is important to understand common factors. Okay. So once again, common factors, it's fairly simple, is that we just have to identify if there are common factors between two or more numbers. Now for understanding sake, let's start with, let's take a number 3, then let's take a number 8, and then let's take another number 12. Okay, and then let's see all the three together. So I will be listing down the factors here. Okay, so what are the factors of 3? 1 and 3. What are the factors of 8? 1, 2, 4 and 8. What are the factors of 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Yeah. Now when I look at all the three numbers, what is the common factor? Only 1 is the common factor. So this is the common factor across these three. Now for a moment, let's ignore 3. Okay, let's assume that there are only two numbers, which basically is 8 and 12. Okay, now if 8 and 12 are there, then what are the common factors? One is a common factor, 2 is a common factor, 4 is a common factor. So the common factors are 1, 2 and 4. So that's how you will be able to identify the common factors. Now the question is, how do we identify common factors? And it is very simple. We will have to factorize each of the numbers, okay, and then express the numbers as their multiplication. So let's take the same example, 8. We start to factorize, we see that it is divisible by 2, and we learnt about it yesterday. Then again it is divisible by 2, again it is divisible by 2. So 8 can be written as 2 into 2 into 2 into 1. Yeah. Else 8 can be written as 1 into 2 into 4. Now similarly 12, it can be written as 1 into 12, it can be written as 2 into 6, it can be written as 3 into 4. Okay, these are the ways of expressing 12s. These are the ways of expressing 8. You can also write 1 into 8, 2 into 4. Yeah, very simple. And then you understand that the factors are 1, 2, 4 and 8. And here the factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. And then you see that these are the common factors. So that's how you identify common factors. And common factors basically are nothing but they are those numbers which will exactly divide this number also, this number also and this number also. So it is that simple. That's the only understanding that you will get, is that if there is a common factor, common factor can completely divide this and this. And from an understanding point of view, please understand that let's say 4 is a common factor. Yeah, 4 is a common factor. So 8 can be distributed in 2 parts of 4 each, and 12 can be distributed in 3 parts of 4 each. So basically whatever is the common factor, that is the quantum in which you can distribute the number. Okay, so many times that will differ because obviously numbers are different. So जैसे कि अगर 8 है और 4 कॉमन फैक्टर है, तो आप 8 को 4 के हिस्सों में बांट सकते हैं. सिमिलरली 12 है, उसको भी 4 के हिस्सों में बांट सकते हैं. कितने हिस्सों में बटेगा वो नंबर के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि वो नंबर कितना बड़ा है. तो इसका यही मतलब है. अब चलिए चलते हैं अगले पे, कॉमन मल्टीपल्स पे, जो कि थोड़ा इससे भी सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट है. तो if you have studied multiplication tables, which I am sure that you did as a kid, okay, so for example there will be common multiples, and I am sure that you must have heard of the concept of LCM, least common multiple, because in the last video, if you remember, we had talked about that multiples are infinite. So the highest common multiple you can never find out because it will go up to infinity. What you can actually find out is the least common multiple, कि सबसे छोटा common multiple क्या है, सबसे छोटा common multiple दोनों numbers का या दो से ज़्यादा numbers का क्या है, that you can find out. And there will be infinite number of common multiples. So again, let's start with a simple example. Let's start with 6 and the other number, let's say 8. Okay. Now what, let me just a moment. So let's start with 6 here and 8 here. Okay. So we will start to jot down the multiples, and I am only doing this so as to make you understand better, क्योंकि समझना ज़रूरी है. 6 into 3 is 18, 8 into 3 is 24, 6 into 4 is 24. Okay. So now you see that when you started to multiply, it was in the fourth term here, in the fourth, that this got 24, and 8 third, in the third multiple of 8 is 24. So basically this is the least common multiple between these two numbers. Okay, this is the smallest number which is divisible by both 6 and 8. And sometimes you will get questions like, identify the smallest number which when divided by 6 and 8 leaves a remainder of 2, right? So what you have got to do is that if you have to find out the smallest number which when divided by 6 and 8 leaves a multiple of 2, in that case first you have to identify the number, smallest number, that gets completely divisible by both, right? And then that number is 24 and we simply add 2 to that number, so it will be 26. So when you divide it by 6, the remainder will be 2. Similarly, when you divide by 8, again the remainder will be 2. So that is the approach of solving such questions, and that is where this concept comes in. Now after this, this is the least common, then you continue to multiply, then you start finding multiples of 24. Okay, and then you will get all the common multiples, like 48 will be a common multiple, then 72 and 96, and then this will go till infinity. So that is the concept of common multiples. Okay, we have studied common factors, common multiples, and now we will come to prime factorization. I think I should have kept prime factorization earlier as a first topic, but in the book also somehow it was after it. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Now see, understand prime factorization. क्या होता है prime factorization? Any composite number or any number basically can be broken down as the multiplication of prime numbers. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's say 10. 10 is a composite number, we know, because what are the factors of 10? 1, 2, 5 and 10. So obviously 4 factors, so it's a composite number. But ultimately when you start factorizing 10, okay, and whenever we start factorizing, we start with the smallest prime number that we know. Yeah, so that is 2, and we will have to see if this number is divisible by 2 or not. Here this number is divisible by 2, so we will start with 2 because this is the smallest prime number that we know. So we will start with the smallest prime number, and we will continue to divide it till the remainder is 1. That is the method. Okay, so 2, 5, and then which number will divide 5? Because 5 is a prime number itself, only 5 can divide 5, right? And now there it is 1. When you come to 1, you stop the process of prime factorization, which means you know that now there are no longer there is no longer a need to do any prime factors for it, and hence 10 will be expressed as 2 into 5. It is optional to write 1 because you know. So now these two are what? These two are prime numbers. So what is the prime factors of 10? Prime factors of 10 is 2 and 5. Okay. So the questions will be as I find out the prime factors of a number. So the prime factors are 2 and 5. Now in certain cases, let's say if this number was to be 100. Okay. So then let me show you, just a second. तो 100 मान लेते हैं. 100 2 से शुरू करते हैं. It will be 50, then again 2 it will be 25, then 5 it will be 5, and then again 5 it will be 1. Okay, so 100 will be written as 2 into 2 into 5 into 5 into 1. Now again see, 2 is written twice, which basically means 2 raised to the power 2 and 5 raised to the power 2 into 1. But the prime factors are the same, 2 and 5. Okay, so prime factors don't change. So keep that in mind. There can be bigger numbers, but the prime factors might be the same. Now let me give you an example where the number is not divisible by 2, and in that case what we have to do is that we have to go to the next prime number, next larger prime number, and things like that. So let's take a number. Let's take 28. Sorry, 28 once again it is divisible by 2. Let's take a number 21. Okay, so not divisible by 2 but divisible by 3, because 2 plus 1 is 3, and this is why we learned the divisibility rules in the previous video. So if you haven't seen that, what I will do is that I will just, it will appear somewhere here in the video, and you can click on that and go back to the previous video and see the divisibility rules. Okay, so and then 7 1. So basically 21 is 3 into 7, and 3 and 7 are the prime factors. Okay, so it's very simple, but what it eventually tells you is that all the composite numbers are nothing but just products of prime numbers. So prime numbers are the most fundamental numbers in the entire number system. They multiply and they construct composite numbers. So that is prime numbers. Now, so that's prime factorization is quite clear now. Okay, now let's look at some questions, and we have studied it already in the previous video, and basis that I am going to help answer. First question says, if a number is divisible by 3, it must be divisible by 9. So पहला तो ये है कि the first trick of solving such questions is to understand that always watch out for terms like must be and never and things like that. तो जहाँ पे भी must हो या never हो ना, उसको ध्यान से पढ़ना है, because इसका मतलब है कि हमेशा वैसा होगा या कभी भी वैसा नहीं होगा. तो whenever must be and never, these words are used, so you should become conscious and you should be more careful. Now see, understand that if a number is divisible by 3, it must be divisible by 9. Yeah. Now let's take a number 6. Okay, it is divisible by 3, but will it be divisible by 9? The answer is no, because 9 is bigger than 6. So how then? So if a number is divisible by 3, it must be divisible by 9 is wrong. Once again, easier way to do it is that write the multiples and see the common multiples. If this has to be true, all the multiples of 3 have to be multiples of 9. 3 into 1, 3. So यहीं पे पता चल गया कि ये नहीं होगा. 3 into 2 is 6. 9 से बड़े में भी चेक कर लेते. 3 into 4 is 12. 12 again is not divisible by 9 because 1 plus 2 is 3 and 3 is not divisible by 9, and therefore this statement is false. So but इसका opposite जो है that I am leaving to you, if a number is divisible by 9, will it be divisible, always be divisible by 3? The answer is yes, but why? Think about it. Think about it. Why, if a number is divisible by 9, it has to be divisible by 3? और ये I have discussed this in the previous video. See, and that's the second question. I'm sorry I didn't see it. So the answer is true. See, 9 basically क्या है? 3 into 3, right? So if there is a number which is divisible by 9, so which means it is 9 into something, okay? So it has to be divisible by 3 because there are 2 3s in 9 in a multiplication form, and 3 is a factor of 9. Therefore whatever is the multiple of 9 will also be a multiple of the factor. So that is true. The first one is false. If a number is divisible by 18, it is divisible by both 3 and 6. Once again, it is true because what is 18? 18 is basically 6 into 3, and we talked about it. Is that in divisibility what happens is that if the factors of the number, okay, they divide, so for example 6, the rule of divisibility of 6 is that the number has to be divisible by 2 and 3. Why? Because 6 is 2 into 3, right? And 18 is 6 into 3. So if a number is divisible by 18, it has to be divisible by both 3 and 6. So that is true. Once again, if a number is divisible by 9 and 10 both, then it must be divisible by 90. The answer is true on similar principles that we taught. Now it says that if two numbers are co-primes, at least one of them must be prime. We talked about it. Let's go back to that. See, one of them must be prime, and this is the example we talked, is that it is two consecutive numbers, okay? So for example, let's take example of two consecutive numbers where both the numbers are not prime. It is 14 and 15. Both of them are not prime, okay? So false. Two prime numbers, so obviously they're always co-prime. One prime and one composite can be, we talked about that. But then we also talked about, minus the consecutive numbers, there can be two composite numbers who are co-prime. And therefore it is false, right? It is not necessary that ज़रूरी नहीं है कि अगर दो numbers co-prime हैं तो one of them has to be prime. बिना एक भी number के prime हुए numbers can be co-prime. So this is false. All numbers which are divisible by 4 must also be divisible by 8. इसका opposite is true, but this is false. Yeah, we talked about it because 8 is 4 into 2. Yeah, that is 8. So whatever the number is divisible by 8, that will be divisible by 4. But it is not necessary that whatever number is divisible by 4 has to be divisible by 8. Right? So 4 into 1 equal to 4. 4 into 2 equal to 8. 4 into 3 equal to 12. And 4 into 4 equal to 16. So now you see that every even multiple of 4 will be divisible by 8. Why? Because 8 is an even multiple of 4. 8 is nothing but 4 into 2. And therefore every even multiple of 4 will be divisible by 8. So for this statement, all numbers which are divisible by 4 must also be divisible by 8 is false. So guys, that will be all for this video. And what I will request you is to go through the questions and solve more questions. And if you have questions that you cannot solve, or if you are confused about anything, then right here is my email ID. Right here you can write to me and I will be happy to answer your questions. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for taking out time to learn today, and see you in the next video.